Hi everyone, it's Mark Hayward of the Absolute Business Mindset podcast and YouTube video. So today I'm going to talk about entitlement and why it is wrong, and how some of the ways that I learned from my personal experience on how to replace entitlement with drive for success. So hopefully you enjoy it. Please do check out my email address for any feedback. I'd love to get your ideas on what you'd like, what you don't like, who you'd like me to interview. That'd be absolutely fantastic. And it's absolutebusinessmindset@gmail.com. Enjoy the podcast. Hi everyone, Mark Hayward from the Absolute Business Mindset podcast. Today I'm going to talk about entitlement and share some of my experiences with entitlement and how some of the ways that it was wrong and caused me some problems with my career. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that for myself. So this is entitlement, is the sort of definition of entitlement is you're entitled to things in life, and you feel that you deserve them even without any sort of basis or background to it. So I know some people, have known some people that feel a certain sense of entitlement. They were friends and kind of they've sort of drifted away from me because I started replacing that sort of entitlement with drive and to be successful. So my first admission, number one, there's 12 points here, is that this is one of my failings as a youngster. It's one of those things that I think some people experience, some people don't. Second point is that I was the first person to go to university in my family and complete it. So I kind of felt that I was owed something by going to university and being relatively successful there. So I felt the world owed me something because I had a degree. I believe this is a sort of common experience from people. But the thing you've got to understand when I was going to universities in the early noughties was that everyone did go to university in the UK. I know there's different experiences in different countries, and the US have a sort of, it's all down to the fees and the scholarships and stuff. So I totally understand it's a totally different structure. But when I went to university, a lot of people were going to university at that time. A lot of first time people going to university in families and things like that was not uncommon, and it was felt at the time, the Labour government felt that that they needed to get more people to go to university to raise skills and raise profile of the country. So as I was saying, like, I think it was one of my failings that I had as a youngster. I think a lot of people do that and experience that, but it's a really negative emotion to have. I actually spent probably, this is an admission in itself, I probably spent most of my 20s with that sort of entitlement. When someone said to me that at 26, 27 they would take you no longer as a graduate in graduate schemes, that kind of was a big shock to me, and I kind of felt that it was a bit difficult to be able to grasp. Although I did apply for some, I didn't apply for a lot of graduate schemes, and probably that was another failing because I had plenty of confidence in some areas, but lack of confidence in other areas. So I didn't feel confident in completing application forms, but felt very confident sitting in an interview and getting a job that way. So I went through that avenue, and that's why I contracted for a while, because I could talk people into giving me a role. But given that sort of concise written, although after my degree was in politics and I did do a lot of writing, I never felt the huge confidence in my written capabilities. So I was much more happier sitting down, having a conversation with someone and trying to persuade them why I was good and why they should employ me, and was relatively successful. I always had a bit of a salesman in me and I could talk myself up. But that actually is also a sense of entitlement. I think there's a difference between having confidence and sort of entitlement or arrogance. I think I was right on the cusp for a lot of my 20s, that I thought I was better than I actually was. And that was a real level of really realising that. And I think some of it was, so this confidence that I had was because I had an enormous amount of love and support from my parents. They gave me a lot of love and support, but not a lot of career advice. So I think so that's one of those sort of catch-22s. I had the confidence, but I didn't necessarily have the thing to back it up with. So so when I took my admin role, that was a great leveler to me. Working for a big company, which was something that I always wanted to do, but had to go in as an admin person. A lot of that was because I kind of felt I didn't have the business experience to be able to go for those sorts of roles. And that was because I'd contracted. I don't know if I've ever not admitted this or told you about this. So from 21 to 26 years old, I worked in central government, which is not the usual place for someone who does business podcasts. But as I said, I did a politics degree, which gave me a lot of insight into people, dynamics, environments, working with other people, the good, the bad, the ugly on people. And so they gave me a lot of valuable skills. But then I kind of felt that I needed to get some grounding in business, and that's why I started in an admin role. And it was really good for me. It was a really, really good move for me. Questions have been asked since then, like, why didn't I just go into an audit role or a tax role in one of the big four? I felt I needed the admin experience first, to get that business experience first. So that was really a turning point for me. That was about, I think I was 27. Probably about 27, 28 when I got that. And that was really good because it meant that I learned that to be successful, I needed to put more in. It did still take me another couple of years until I really was, because one of my thoughts was I like to socialise. I like to going out with friends, going out socialising, drinking, having a laugh. And that change from majority socialising to being driven as I am now, basically a lot of that came from when I met my mentor, from a friend that suggested I worked with him, and I learned I needed to put so much more into work. I was one of those in my admin role that I could work hard. I did work hard, and but there was also times where I didn't work hard, and I think that was really important for me to learn that to start getting into the successful promotions, getting there, you needed to tap. What my coach, mentor, whatever did to me was he tapped into my hunger. So I was always quite hungry to be successful, but I was a little bit unfocused on what success meant and how I was to achieve it. So he really tapped into what the steps that I needed to get away from the entitlement, away from thinking that I deserve something without working hard at it. And he filled in the gaps and tapped into that hunger that I had to be successful. So this is quite an honest podcast, because I think I want to quash all these guys that are early 20s that have come out of university or come out of A levels or like some sort of education and think that they deserve to get a job, they deserve to get a good role, to get good money straight away. Some do, but you've got to be exceptional. You've got to be very good. So I want you guys, if you're listening to this, really tap into that and really, really think about what success is and how to achieve it. I'm just going to take a stop out of this podcast, just because I wanted to let everyone know that I'm looking to get more feedback and some more ideas from people. And the best way I think you can do that is by going to absolutebusinessmindset@gmail.com. And I will tell you, and I will offer the option to be able to give me all that advice, feedback. I'd love to hear your thoughts, so please do check that out. Equally, you can go to the same place if you'd like to get my thoughts on ways of running a project. I've got a free copy of this document, so if you would like to know my ways of being able to run a project, they are from personal experience of running many projects and being able to understand dynamics of the clients, of the stakeholders, of all the affiliates and all the people involved in that in your project. So if you want to get that, go to absolutebusinessmindset@gmail.com as well and email me, and I will send that over to you. Right, back to the podcast. So there was a massive difference once I met my mentor, and he tapped into the hunger to be successful. He filled the gaps that basically education never gives you. So education was great for writing skills, listening skills, speaking skills, drinking skills, but it didn't give you what is needed in a business, the profit, the looking after money, the saving as well as spending, and debt and loans and all that stuff. Or from a personal finance point of view, I never really had, but equally on the business side, actually working for a profit, you actually have to put your effort in to be able to deliver. So I think it's so important that you need to be able to have somebody, and it could be a friend, it could be a friend of the family, it could be a colleague, it could be equally there's any number of people that could fill those gaps for you. But you need to be able to have someone, if you're not, like if you're selling football cards, in the UK it used to be Panini stickers and things like that, you're probably entrepreneurial. But if you're not entrepreneurial, or don't start from an entrepreneurial starting point, I think we can all learn entrepreneurship. I think you need someone to be able just to fill those gaps. So please do look for those people to be able to help you shape your career. So now I am driven. I want to succeed in my career. I want to be successful. I want to have a successful podcast. And so I do things outside of my normal day job, outside of my normal podcast job, to get things done. So I think everyone needs to have a sense of drive in their life, and there's lots of people that can do that for you. So my last point is, if you think at this moment in time, you're listening to this and you're like, what's he talking about? I'm really good. I deserve this. I deserve this is a really bad way to describe it. I should get this because I've got a degree, or I've got a master's, or whatever. Even people at MBAs can be really good but can be entitled. The whole thing about faking it till you make it, I do kind of question that, and I would say that you got to be authentic. And a bit of confidence and a bit of selling is not a bad thing. Faking it until you make it can leave you with a big black hole that's difficult to close. So I would say definitely be careful of that. So if you do feel that you're entitled to something, or the world owes you something, you're wrong. Look, I'm looking into your eyes now. You are wrong. No one deserves anything. So you need to wake up and start going. Work hard, drive, entrepreneurship, whatever it is, corporate, small business, whatever it is, you need to work your arse off to get things done and get things right. So don't think that anyone is out there that is going to support and help you unless you're willing to put the effort in yourself. So all this big talk does not deliver. You need to deliver as well. So get out there and do it. Right. hopefully you've all enjoyed that. I felt that needed to be spoken about. That subject, the subject of entitlement, I think needed to be spoken about. I think there's still people, millennials, who feel that, and some don't. Some work very, very hard, and I've people I work with that are millennials that work very, very hard. But I think it's something that is an experience that some people experience, maybe a lot of people experience to a degree. So I thought that was important to share with you. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Please do check me out on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Patreon, all those places you can find me. They'll all be in the show notes. So thank you very much, and I will all speak to you soon.